Asset Manager is a program used to keep track of assets using barcode technology. Assets are defined and labeled with barcodes from automatically generated unique numbers. In this screen, we see a master asset called an IBM desktop computer. We have several of these computers, each with a unique barcode number. Each of these computers can have a serial number, purchase date and price, plus any other notes. Each computer is stored in a location. Let's define some new inventory starting from scratch. The first thing we'll do is define some of our locations. Currently, we have no locations defined, so we're going to add 3 new locations. Use the Add button to define our first location. The first location will be the General Duties Office. Once entered, save the new record. It's added to our table. Repeat the process for our second location. This one will be the Reception Area. Save our second location and note that it's now on our table. The last location will be the Traffic Office. With our 3 new locations now added, we will define some new master assets. Defining master asset records is the same as defining location records. We'll define 3 new master assets, so we'll start once again with the Add button. Our first master asset will be a fax machine. Once entered, save the new record and note that it appears on our master asset table. Our second master asset will be a filing cabinet 2-drawer. Save this new record and it also appears on our master asset table. Repeat the process one last time. Our last master asset is a desk double pedestal. Save the last record, and we can now go over and enter some of our new assets. Over here on our asset screen, we choose the master view, where we are going to add a couple of desks to our inventory of assets. We purchased these 2 desks back at the beginning of the year 2000. Our current master asset is desk double pedestal. Note that we have no assets defined for this master asset as the table is empty. To define our desks, use the Add button to bring up the entry screen. The location of our first desk is in the Traffic Office, so we'll pick that location from our drop-down list. The date we purchased the desk was January 3rd, 2000, so we can use the calendar to pick the correct date. Our desks do not have serial numbers, but the purchase prices were $275 each. The last thing we'll do is add a few notes. Now we can save our first desk record, which sets the screen back to this. For our second desk, we'll use the Repeat button, as it is the same kind of desk purchased from the same place on the same date and for the same price. Change the location as our second desk is located in the reception area. We can close our entry screen. Our 2 desks appear in the table. We can now print a barcode label for each desk. Our first desk was assigned this barcode number. Go to the other desk, which has a different barcode number, and print that label. In the next slide, we'll add a fax machine. Our current master asset is now set to fax machine. No assets have yet been defined, so we'll add one to our list, once again using the Add button. This fax machine is located in the General Duties Office, so let's set the location from the drop-down list. The date of purchase was July the 1st, 2000, so we use the calendar to set that date. It also has a serial number, so we'll enter that in the appropriate field. The purchase price for our fax machine was $400, so that amount is entered. We will record a few more comments about this fax machine, save our new record, and close the entry screen. Our fax machine appears on our table. Print the barcode label, and we are finished. The last thing we'll do is add a filing cabinet to our General Duties Office. Once again, our master asset is set, this time to filing cabinet 2-drawer. Use the Add button to define our filing cabinet for the General Duties Office. Choose the location from the drop-down list. We don't have a serial number this time, so let's set the purchase date to July the 1st, 2000. The purchase price was $325, and we'll leave filling in the comments to later. Save our new record and close the screen. Our filing cabinet is now on the list. The last thing to do is print the barcode label. Let's now use the location screen to see what we have in total for our locations. Now we are looking at the location screen for our assets. All assets are sorted into their locations. In the reception area location, we have one asset, the desk double pedestal. The purchase date, price, and comments are displayed. We'll now have a look at the General Duties Office location. This location has two assets, the fax machine and filing cabinet. These are the comments for the fax machine. If we move to the filing cabinet record, we notice that no comments exist. Comments can be added from this screen by simply inserting them, or right-click with the mouse to cut, copy, and paste comments from other records or programs. Let's have a look at the asset report for the General Duties Office. This is the asset report for the location General Duties Office. We see our two assets, the fax machine and filing cabinet. The fax machine in the General Duties Office has this serial number. Purchase dates and prices are displayed, and of course the grand total of all assets recorded for this location. Next, we'll show a report for all of our double pedestal desks. We use the master view and set the position of the master asset to desk double pedestal. Now we click the preview button to view the asset report. This time the report shows a listing of all the double pedestal desks. Their current locations are displayed along with the purchase dates, prices, and grand total. The next thing we'll do is move one of the desks to a new location. We use the edit button for this task. We are going to move this desk from the traffic office to the General Duties Office. Use the drop-down list to pick the new location. We can now save the change to complete the movement of this asset. Note that our new location is now recorded for this desk. We can now take a look at the history of movements for this asset by using the History button. The history of movements for our desk shows the date and time for the first movement to the traffic office. The second movement was to the General Duties Office. Let's look at the history report for this desk. It shows a listing of all movements for our specific double pedestal desk, plus any comments that have been recorded. The last thing we'll look at in this portion of our tour will be the reports screen. Asset Manager has a wide range of reports. We won't examine all of these various reports, but let's look at some of the different combinations that we can generate. This setting will generate a report of all of our assets sorted by the master asset. This combination would generate an asset report for just our fax machines. We can produce a report of all assets sorted by location, or we can just choose one location, such as the reception area. For history reports, we can look at all movements sorted by the master asset, or in this example, we can choose one asset to produce an asset history report for our fax machines. We can also generate history reports sorted by location, or just one location, such as the reception area. And finally, we can choose a date range for our history reports. That concludes this portion of our tour, so we'll navigate back to the main menu. The next portion of our tour deals with the optional handheld computer data